Oh, hey, man.
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's nice to sit down and drink a beer after a long day.
Yep. A very long day.
Oh, hey. Fuck happened in Loki episode 4?
Dude, so much happened.
So much happened. Some big reveals.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of questions answered and
More
questions asked.
Yep, you get one question answered. One question answered, 4 more pop up.
Yep. Crazy episode. Very, probably one of the more emotionally driven episodes.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And, damn. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good.
Oh, yeah.
This was the first episode, and I've been saying this to people, and it was like, this is the first episode where it kind of pissed me off that I had to wait another week. Or I'm like, usually it's like, oh, fun, theory crafting, do all that, fun stuff that I like about the week-to-week schedule.
No, I want it now.
And then I'm like, no, you can't end it like that and not have another episode right behind it. What are you talking about? No.
Yep.
It's rude.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a great episode.
It was. It was a very good episode.
And I have so many questions, and we're gonna talk about those questions and such.
But first,
after we talk about this beer.
it's a beer!
It's a beer! Drinking Firestone again.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure. Because that's what we said we were gonna do. This time it's the Propagator Citra Hazy IPA. And it's a single hop. So, obviously Citra. Yeah. So, citrus, grapefruit. I think the kind of more tarty grapefruit, lemon sort of flavors.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not really very pronounced in this.
Mm.
It is a lower alcohol beer, 5.6. So it's, kind of like just a little above a light beer. At least what I would consider a light beer.
Yeah.
Rather than that 4 to 5% range.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I mean, for an IPA, it's low.
Yeah.
On that percentage scale.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not a whole lot going on there, at least that I've noticed so far. But at the same time, there's nothing offensive about it. It's really drinkable. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, super easy to drink. It's got good flavors. Yeah, like you said, citrusy. It's got that grapefruit tartness that's in there. But, the citrusy or the grapefruit, neither one really kind of,
I'm honestly getting
overpowers the hop.
Yeah. I'm not really getting a whole lot of hop character.
Not really. There's they more like
it's kind of like
it's not like the bitter hops.
It's like you get the grapefruit, but like a sweet grapefruit, because it doesn't have any of that real tartness to it. I'm not getting much tartness. It's almost more like more of an orange.
Yeah.
Like kind of a bland orange.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you took most of the sweetness away from an orange, that's what I'm getting here. So almost
like an unripened orange?
Not that sour.
Okay.
Because I'm not getting any sour.
Yeah.
Kind of getting those kind of notes that you get with hazies, where it's kind of just got that mellowed, malty flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fine beer.
It's not bad.
But,
not my first choice.
Not my first choice. I'm probably not going to pick this up again.
What would you rate it?
Like a 3. Give it a 3.
I'd say, yeah.
It's not like, there's nothing about it that makes me want to give it a 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to.
It's not terrible. It's just, there's no outstanding characteristics about it that would make us go higher than a 3.
Yeah. So I give it right in the middle ground because, if this were available, I'd be like, hey, that's not offensive, and I'm not going to get drunk drinking this.
Yeah.
If it were at a party or something, I'd be like, I can have a couple of these without worrying about getting buzzed.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, pretty unremarkable for me. But again, we're used to drinking high alcohol, aggressive beers.
Yeah, beers.
We really like bold, in-your-face flavors.
Yeah.
So, if you like things that are a little bit more subdued, if you want to just drink a beer, this is actually a pretty fine choice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, right down the middle of the road. Give it a 3. It's Firestone, so you can probably find it most like grocery stores and stuff like that.
Anywhere.
Yeah, at least in California.
Most places.
Most places in California.
Yeah.
I mean, Firestone has good distribution, so then find it other places, but
yeah, local grocery store, most liquor stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier. It's easier to find.
Yeah.
But
as with any Firestone beer.
Yeah, true.
Although finding DBA was apparently more difficult than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Had to get a mix pack just to get that beer.
Yeah, that was weird.
I'm like, what's going on here? But anyways, enough about that. It's fine beer. We're going to continue drinking it while we talk about Loki.
Yes.
Because this episode was... a lot happened. So much happened. Spoiler alert. Because if you didn't know already...
It's been 2 days. People should have watched it by now.
Some people have, spawned.
That is true.
Keep them from enjoying and consuming television at hours that they can understand and enjoy it. But, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be watching this video if you haven't seen it anyways.
True. Looking at you, and...
Same thing goes for the whole Spawn thing, too, though.
Yeah, true.
But anyways, freaking open up with Sylvie as a kid, and a TVA, freaking scooping her up. Seemingly for, no reason.
Yep.
And later in the episode when Sylvie asked her, what was my Nexus event? What was so bad that, you had to take me from my home and cause all this to happen? And Renslayer's just like, I don't remember. With a smug-ass look on her face, too, which makes me think she does. She's just saying that because it's just a power trip.
Yeah, I think they're making her seem more of a worse-off character than she actually is. She probably just believes in her duty more than she actually should.
That, or she's a bad guy.
Yeah. I'm thinking that we're going to get another bad guy.
Well, I mean, as we've talked about before, this is definitely going to be introduction to King the Conqueror, most likely. But I think as far as, who the bad guy could actually be, I'm thinking Renslayer's a possibility. Although the way Sylvie kind of hands it to her at the end of the episode, I mean, we don't see anything past that.
Yeah, sure.
We'll see where it goes. Because it almost seemed like right then, after she had pruned Loki, that she was almost too easy to take down. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But the other theory is that it's Loki.
Yeah.
But a different Loki.
Yeah.
Which is why they hate Loki so much. Because it's the only thing that's going to stop me is me.
Yeah. That does make sense. Okay. I'm gonna go with the comic book origin of the Timekeepers, and say he who remains is going to be introduced. He's gonna be like this decrepit old man that kind of created the Timekeepers, like in the comics, and
the whole created the Timekeepers at the end of time. To go back to the
beginning
beginning
of
time.
And start everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so that they have a little more of a comic book origin. Plus, that would also bring in more eternal beings, like Eternity and stuff like that. So it would also leave the possibility for that.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's going to be that, and they're going to leave. All the timekeepers aren't going to be them anymore. Like the androids, it's going to be Loki, Mobius, and Sylvie
As the timekeepers. Interesting.
That's a random theory I just thought of.
That's a very
random theory I just thought of. But like, I was like, cause okay. So the beginning video that they showed, it looked like one female and two males.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe that would be the one female and the two males. Also, it's two Lokis and Mobius. I mean, we gotta get Mobius back. I mean, like,
well,
after seeing what happened with Loki at the end, at the mid-credits scene, we have to get Mobius back. I mean, it's just gotta be a thing.
The way they so unceremoniously freaking pruned Mobius. At first, I had that immediate reaction of, no, the best character!
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, that was really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they would have done something a little bit more dramatic. You know? Like, giving him a chance to fight or something, like, really try and fend him off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wait a second. There's gotta be more to this whole pruning thing. Especially the way, like, they're acting and just... Yeah.
It didn't seem right. It just felt unceremonious because most of the like the people when they die, it seems very like ceremonious and like it's in a big way.
Yeah.
And this just seemed like too abrupt.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Even for a character as, you know, we've only known Mobius for 4 episodes. One of which we didn't even see him at all. So, you know, like, we've already gotten attached to this character.
Yeah.
And they know that, because frickin' Owen Wilson's killing it.
Mm-hmm. His best, like, some of his best acting.
Yeah, at least it's some of my favorite, that's for sure.
Some of my favorites in Shanghai Noon.
Probably my favorite since Zoolander.
Or Anaconda.
Dude, I always forget he's in that.
Yeah, he's the guy that sides with him.
Yeah.
With the bad guy.
Oh, man. But like, just the way he looks in that movie doesn't remind me of the classic, like, Owen Wilson look. I guess. I don't know. Like, I can't even, like, picture him in the movie right now.
He had a very iconic look back then.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyways.
Tangents.
Tangents. Oh, man. I'm tired.
Yeah, they're like they're trying to figure out what was causing the Nexus event during an apocalypse.
Yeah. So the whole scene with them and they're about to die, and they hold hands basically, or hold arms, looking into each other's eyes all long and lean shit.
Totally got the Homelander thing.
Oh my god.
I was a little irritated by that. But I was like, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. But, yeah. I love the way Mobius is talking about it, like, how self-centered are you that you fall in love with yourself? Like, how much of a narcissist are you that you literally fall in love with yourself? And then when he said that, you know, they had already taken out Sylvie and Loki's...
You could see it in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
He played that
scene.
Tom Hiddleston is doing such a great job, like top tier acting off this. This is because you could see the hurt in his eyes, even though he played it so perfectly.
He played it really well to where you could tell that he was hurt, and that, you know, like, it really did bother him that Mobius was saying that. But I love the whole back and forth they're having about, they're both totally lying to each other.
Yeah.
Because they're like best friends having an argument, which is great.
Mental chess.
Yeah.
Like seeing who could figure out the other one first.
Yeah. Like who trips up first.
Yep.
And it was Loki by showing emotion.
Oh yeah. Even the subtlest twinge gives it away.
Mm-hmm. I like the whole when we finally get Lady Sif back.
Yeah,
after she was mysteriously absent from Ragnarok.
Jamie Alexander's character finally comes back.
Yeah.
Oh, so happy.
Yeah.
Yes. God, she's fine.
Right.
Well, we found out that Sif was banished when Loki took over as Odin. So that's why she wasn't there during Ragnarok. She was
in reality,
somewhere.
she was filming another movie.
Mm-hmm.
So couldn't be in Thor Ragnarok. But that's a good thing because she probably would have just been killed off.
Yeah,
the other Warrior 3. So yeah. But the whole Loki cutting off a piece of her hair while she slept is actually based on a real Nordic folklore.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Like, they actually took that whole scenario from something that Loki actually did.
Yeah.
Historically. Or, story-wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked that. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the worst sort of torture, too. Like,
seriously.
Not only do you get hit in the balls and punched in the face twice, but you also get, like, the whole you're gonna be alone forever.
Yeah. You're gonna be alone forever, and just, like, the mental degradation of having that said to you over and over again. That's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you can get kicked in the balls for all eternity, and that's gonna suck. But to also be emotionally torn down while that's happening. Is just brutal.
It's a mental kick in the balls.
It's a mental kick in the balls. Like, relive one of your greatest mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be torture.
Mm-hmm.
That would be real torture. But, yeah. I don't totally get what they're doing, like, technically, with that whole being able to put him back into a place in time, but he can't actually totally affect it. And it just keeps repeating, like, oh, he's in a time loop. How do they do that? I mean, I guess they do kind of control time or go through time, but how do they make it loop like that? Huh. They do have a bunch of time stones. And that's kind of what the time stone is famously been used to do.
True. Yeah, I like the big reveal that the timekeepers, they're all androids.
Yeah.
Actual androids, not Dragon Ball Z androids.
And it's funny too.
Not Dragon Ball Z androids, actual androids.
Yeah, which are cyborgs.
Yeah.
What I totally thought too, the very first time you actually like see the timekeepers, I'm like, they look like Disneyland animatronics. And then they turned out to be animatronics. Like, it was like, what the shit?
Right.
That was not something I expected to be right about.
Right. Where's the man behind the curtain?
Yeah.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
But, like, I also had that question because, whenever there's scene, like, when Renslayer in the last episode, like, goes to see them, it wasn't because that she was called on, because obviously they're just there.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she just goes to see them, to report to them, and they're just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they just were just kind of sitting there the whole time. I'm like, aren't these guys, like, busy working the timeline? Like, isn't that what they're supposed to be doing? And I'm just like, what? why does it seem like they're always there?
Right.
If you open that door at any single point, they're always just going to be there, sitting there. I'm like, that's weird. And they look like animatronics, but I didn't make the full connection that they would actually be robots.
Totally.
I just thought they displayed a lot of characteristics of robots.
Yes, exactly.
So when it turned out that they were robots, I wasn't really all that surprised.
Okay, so the one that looked like he had a mustache, did you, were you half expecting him to go?
I was half expecting him to say he's got diabetes.
Diabetes. Diabetes.
This is stupid as shit.
I was half expecting him to do that, just like, because like he also had that little,
because he had the jowl, the little jowl flaps.
Yeah, he had the jowl flaps, and the way that he spoke too, it sounded like he was like.
Oh, absolutely. He looked like he was out of a fucking Dr. Seuss book.
Exactly. I was like, you gotta like mix between the Lorax.
And honestly, like when you look at like all the statues and all the depictions of the timekeepers, I mean, it always focuses on the middle one, which is the one that got its head cut off.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you look at those, I always was like, man, they kind of look like Darkseid from the comics and the cartoons. Like they look like Darkseid, and then you actually see them, and like they look like Darkseid if he was even goofier looking.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvel's always been great at goofy designs.
True.
So, I mean, look at Thanos' original character design. It looks like he's wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Timekeeper's whole design and look and everything, so like they look like fucking Disney characters, like Dr. Seuss or some shit.
It's true, they totally did
What
too.
is up with these guys? And they're just robots. So, I mean, oh man, so many questions about why are they robots? Why are they there?
Are there any timekeepers at all?
Do the timekeepers exist, or is it just someone else? Is it Loki? Is it Renslayer? Is it, who freaking ever else it could be?
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many possibilities with the Marvel Universe. It's insane.
And I mean, they have literally millions of ideas that they could go off of.
Yeah. Which is why it's always so hard to figure out like where they're gonna go with the storyline, because they borrow story elements and they pick pieces from different parts of different stories and different retellings of different stories too. So really, they could be crafting their own storyline but using elements of the comics. Because they've already established that they were doing something different from the way Marvel was originally conceived. And so, like, they're adapting storylines, they're retelling certain things. Civil War was significantly different in the comic books.
It was not as much of a grand scale as in the comic books, but it still did what it was meant to.
Yeah. But, like, it wasn't over the Sokovia Accords, it was over the
superhero registration.
Yeah. Which
the first Civil War was superhero registration.
Yeah. Which is somewhat similar. But
yes.
But the reasoning behind it was all totally different.
Yes.
And a lot of the key players were totally different. There were significantly more characters in the comic book Civil War.
Yeah, a lot more X-Men.
Well, yeah, you can say that about everything.
Fantastic Four.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh yeah.
Arc in the comics. I mean, the very first thing that happens when Thanos gets the Infinity Gauntlet in the comics is he slices Wolverine to ribbons.
Yeah. Pretty much what he did to Mantis.
Mantis and Drax.
Yeah. He did the cube thing to Thor. I believe it was Thor.
Huh.
He put Cyclops' head in in a cube. So he literally suffocated to death.
Brutal.
Yeah, dude.
But, I mean, ruthlessly efficient, as Thanos is pretty much always been.
What he does. So what do you got for theories, man?
For theories, I mean, there's a Loki behind it all theory, which I like that theory. I don't necessarily think it's true, but at the same time, there is, plausibility behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that theory, if just it's a fun little theory. I want to do more theorizing about like what apocalypse world or timeline all the people that are getting pruned go to. We got all the different Lokis at the end, like Alligator Loki and Kid Loki.
Mm-hmm.
And then the original
comic book Loki, and then there's also Boastful Loki.
Boastful Loki, who looks like he has his own version of Mjolnir.
Which he does, yes.
Which is pretty dope.
That hammer looks so cool.
The hammer looks super cool. Yeah, big black buff Loki with a hammer. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to see more of that character. Give me that backstory.
Right.
What would you say is the reasoning for Alligator Thor? Because I've heard a couple different...
You mean Alligator Loki?
Alligator Loki, yeah.
Throg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that one. And then there's also the theory that he turned himself, instead of turning himself into a snake to stab Thor, he turns himself into an alligator and somehow gets stuck. Which is less likely, but way funnier, and I like it.
Okay, so what I'm thinking for Alligator, besides the whole Alligator Loki for Throg, would be...
Frog Thor.
Would be he's from the same plane of existence as Spider-Ham.
Yeah, that was another one.
So that's that. I like that one. I actually agree with that one. That would probably be the most likely of ones. Plus, I really like
that too.
I really like Spider-Ham because if they do open up to that multiverse, then that means that Spider-Ham is a thing, which also means that the Spider-Verse could still be a live-action thing.
That would be amazing.
It would be so cool.
God. Which, I mean, we'll see. The next Spider-Man movie has potentially so much going on for it. Time travel and multiverse shenanigans lies.
True.
Like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Jamie Foxx.
Alfred Molina. Are all coming back.
Yep.
Alfred Molina has already said that he is the same version of Dr. Octopus that he was in Spider-Man 2. And that the very first time we see him, he's literally coming out of the river that he died in.
Yeah.
So...
What is it, the Hudson?
The Hudson.
The Hudson, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Like, oh, we had bad guys from different universes coming into the main Marvel universe. I'm so excited to see where this is going. It seems like all of the reset bombs that Sylvie sent out, like, it seems like the TVA either solved the problem or swept it under the rug. With Renslayer, you really can't tell, but the way she's talking about it seems like they actually managed to undo all the damage that she did.
It seems like they did figure out everything.
Yeah.
And then that's probably why Renslayer was already right behind Sylvie at the gold doors for the Timekeepers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Whoa, what just happened?
It's the Timekeepers.
The Timekeepers. Yeah, random offshoot that I didn't mention for the theories thing is it's like a theory, but it it's not a more as impactful theory now. But, yeah, it should be the front. But the idea that Renslayer's had to, like, wipe Mobius's mind multiple times. Because obviously, by nature, Mobius is very inquisitive. That's his job. That's what he does.
That's who he is.
And, like, that's probably why he was chosen as a variant to be in the TVA.
Yeah, probably.
But, like, things like the rings from the whiskey glass on the table. And, you know, he seems to forget that he's the one responsible for that every time. And the way Renslayer had said, you know, like, those are from the last time you did that. Oh, really? So, yeah, just a cool little...
I think that just could be chalked up just because he's a jet ski bro. And, like, some things you just can't get rid of.
Yeah. There was the whole part of the conversation where when she was asking him, like, if you could go anywhere at any point in time, like, where would you go? And you would kind of expect him to be all like, oh, I'd love to go to the 90s and ride a jet ski. But...
Oh, man, I was waiting for him.
You get the feeling, like...
But she was testing him.
She was testing him. Like...
To see what, like, if he had told him anything.
Yeah. Or even gauge, like, how much of his old life is starting to come back. Like, is it getting about time that we gotta rewire Mobius? Which is so messed up to think about. Like, just how the whole thing has been set up. And there is the one scene when Sylvie's being processed, when Renslayer pushes her to be to the very first front desk area, and you see another guy being hauled in, and it's the dude with the big mustache.
With the big mustache,
but he's got like long hair, and he's he looks totally different, but he's still got the big mustache. And then next time we see him, obviously he's got shorter haircut, and he's wearing dorkier clothes.
Gotta fit in with the aesthetic, man.
Yeah. And, yeah, it just kind of shows that, like, the guy that we see earlier on, he's like some sort of businessman, does something like that, like, they were probably trying to see if he was TVA material, and, as soon as he refused to take a ticket, they're like, bing, you're gone.
Okay,
like, you're not going to be useful.
Oh, I wonder if we're going to get a callback to that in the next episode.
Right? Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
That would be pretty cool. It's like, my father is part of Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I hope we get to see more Lokis.
That would be cool.
So we're already going to get... We already know that this timeline, we're going to get the President Loki one. So the timeline that Loki's in right now, we're getting President Loki.
So, what timeline do you think that is?
I think it is a deserted timeline after Loki actually does win. Like,
at the end of the
Avengers.
Something happened. I'm kind of leaning towards that, too. Loki beats the Avengers, takes over, because they featured the Avengers Tower very prominently in the background. I feel like that's supposed to be like a major callback to the Avengers.
Yeah.
Especially because after Age of Ultron, they don't use the tower anymore. Yeah. So we could see potentially a timeline where Loki won.
There's a theory that the Avengers Tower is being used as the Baxter Building.
Yeah.
Like they sold it to become the Baxter Building, and that's what Avengers Tower becomes. Because the A kind of looks like a 4 if you just take off one of the legs.
Yeah.
The front leg.
Yeah, that's true. If you just take out that one little part, it's like, oh, it's a very, very 4-looking ship there.
Yep.
Works out fantastically.
Right. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
But yeah, so like I'm thinking that it's gonna be an abandoned timeline that Loki wins, or it's the timeline that the TVA doesn't stop Loki from taking the Tesseract the second time.
Yeah.
Like when Loki got it and when it hit his foot and he teleported. When the this is what happened to the timeline when Loki doesn't get it, doesn't get taken. Doesn't get stopped.
He comes he's somehow less boastful and arrogant that he actually takes the threat of the officers coming in as like an actual serious threat.
Yeah.
And takes them out.
Mm-hmm. No, he just doesn't get stopped by the TVA at all. Like this is like somehow this is like
somehow avoids being detected as a Nexus event.
Yes. It's gonna be like an abandoned timeline, so like the timekeepers aren't really paying attention. They don't really give a shit about this one. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay. So then Loki gets teleported off. He ends up just like becoming a citizen of the United States somehow. And then he ends up running for president. And then that's how everything gets destroyed. Because he causes World War III. Everything gets destroyed. Everything's in a post-apocalyptic kind of area. And Loki's still, like, technically in power. Because there's nobody else.
Yeah.
So, that's another theory, though.
I like that theory. It sounds fun.
It does.
It sounds like a fun, albeit kind of sad version, but also
which also means,
and then like any number of combinations of those scenarios could have happened. Mm-hmm. Loki beat the Avengers, takes over the country, takes over the world, revolt, World War III, basically.
Yep. It didn't work. He's still in power. He's still alive, and all the people are suffering. So.
I like that. I could see that happening.
Right? It's a fun little theory. I like it.
Yeah.
But that's all I got, man.
I think that's all I got. The whole talk when Loki's talking to Sylvie about she was taken as a girl and she escaped, like how she survived. Mm-hmm. Like that was really sad. Like that whole story of like I grew up in apocalypses.
Yeah, that does suck.
Really shitty.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, because like she finally found out that like going to apocalypses doesn't cause her to be found.
Yeah.
And like just having to be
she would jump between different timelines and different areas, mm-hmm. But as soon as she actually interacts with anybody or anything significant, it'll cause a Nexus event, which brings the TVA in, and she's got to run all over again. Mm-hmm. Until she eventually lands in an apocalypse, and then figures out that she can't be tracked.
But that also explains why she's so good at like hand-to-hand combat and like swordplay.
Yeah, she's probably had to fight
a lot of TVA
and TVA. And you just got like ravenous mobs, like we saw in episode 3 when they're trying to get to the Ark.
And Lamentus, yeah.
Yeah, Lamentus. So, she definitely had to fight a lot of, doomed people. Mm-hmm. And then fighting the TVA as well. Mm-hmm. Over probably several years. Mm-hmm. Just trying to jump from timeline to timeline just to evade him.
Yeah, because like they mentioned that she's about the same age as Loki.
Yeah. So
she's about 1,000 years old.
Yeah, around 1,000.
Yeah.
And she was a little girl when they first took her. So yeah, long time.
Very.
Very long time.
That's a long time to be running.
Yeah. Like it's. I mean, obviously, because they wrote her that way, but it's a miracle that she's not even more messed up than she is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, no, like I don't really have too much. I really hope we see Mobius in the next episode. So I was really sad when he got pruned.
I really hope, and it's by the same guy that he was like that was being a dick to all these all those people in the bunker.
Oh yeah.
It was still that. It was that guy too. I was
dude, fuck that guy.
I know, what a dick.
Yeah, an asshole. Yeah.
I hope B-15 comes back and helps.
Yeah.
Helps Sylvie.
Because right after she, freed him, she just freaking hightailed it.
Well, no, she got knocked out.
Oh, she got knocked out. That's right.
She got knocked out by the two guards by the door.
Yeah.
So she's just unconscious.
Yeah. So. Yeah, she'll definitely be popping up again.
I hope so. Because I like that character.
Yeah.
She's grown in the 4 episodes.
She's grown in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Really in 3, because we don't get as much... Well, yeah, 4. Episode 3, you don't get much of anybody but
Loki and Sylvie, yeah.
So, just like the faintest whisper of Renslayer, and that's it. It's just the Loki episode after that.
Yep.
Which is also a great episode, character development-wise.
Mm-hmm. That's why that was...
Yeah. But this episode just had, like, the most, like, consistent story beats of just, like, rapidly advancing the plot in 50 minutes.
Yep.
Which, oh, man. If I haven't said it before, I'm going to say it again. I love the TV format.
Yes.
They get to spend all the money to make amazing looking television. That whole scene of Lamentus, like the freaking planet crashing down onto the moon, looked spectacular.
Fantastic.
Like, all of that looked so good.
When I saw that, I was like, man, it even looks even more like a face right now.
Yeah.
Play the Song of Time!
3 days remaining.
I love that game so much.
Fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, visually, this episode was great.
Fantastic.
Story-wise, this episode was just
each
episode
just keeps getting better and better.
It really does.
It just draws you in more and more.
So, damn, I'm excited for episode 5. And then I have to wait a whole other week for episode 6. I don't wanna.
I hope that episode 5's an hour.
I mean, we're already really close. We're usually in the 45 to 50 minute range.
Yeah.
So, I love that.
That's. I mean, they've been able to squeeze so much story in like the 45-minute, 50-minute range.
Yeah.
So next week we have something special for you because it's going to be a 3-episode week.
Yeah.
We're going to be real busy next week.
We got Loki, we got Rick and Morty as scheduled, and we got Black Widow, our first Marvel movie in so long.
Since a while.
Yeah. Since Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. Spider-Man was our last one.
I mean, dang. That feels like it was so long ago. It came out right after Infinity War. Or, not Infinity War, but Endgame.
Endgame, yeah. Yeah, it was like a month, maybe 2 after that.
Yeah, it was only supposed to be like 6, 7 months after that we were supposed to get Black Widow.
Yeah, Black Widow.
A year and a half later.
Yeah.
Finally getting it.
Yeah, but anyway, so yes, next week we will be doing 3 episodes.
3 episodes.
So busy.
So busy.
It's a good thing we already picked that beer out.
Yes.
I've been holding on to that thing for a while.
I know, the temptation is just ridiculous.
Oh, I wanted to drink it so bad.
That's such a good beer. We're
is.
not going to spoil it yet.
Nope, not yet.
You can wait until that video comes out.
Yeah, so...
Because we probably said it anyways.
But that about wraps it up, so...
Here's to you.
Here's to me.
Friends for life, we shall always be.
If by chance we disagree.
Well, then screw you.
Here's to me. Cheers.